Hi, my name's Joanne. I'm a content designer working at Co-op. And I'm going to speak about why we don't tell people how to feel, or why we shouldn't tell people how to feel when we're describing our products and services. So as content designers, it's often our job to describe our services to others. We might attach words like quick, easy, simple to our descriptions of them when we're talking about them internally. Because we're proud of what we've done, we want other people to feel the same way about them that we do. But I'm going to explain why we shouldn't be using these words when we describe our services to users. So with Co-op Wills as an example, we wanted to make a traditionally complex service easy for people. So this was something we knew people found intimidating. They felt that they had to rely on expensive advice from solicitors and lawyers, and we wanted to change that. We wanted to make it accessible to people in a way that they could understand what decisions they were making and the impact of those decisions. So we kept the design simple. We used a lot of white space so that people could focus on what was being asked of them. We used plain English explanations of complex terminology and jargon, and we did a lot of user research with people. So we knew that people could understand what was being asked of them and could get through the process. But we learned that people didn't always find it an easy thing to get through. Some people had to speak to the partners before they made a decision. Some people were reminded of perhaps a traumatic experience from the past, of dealing with a will in the past. And other people found it distressing to think about their own death. So we knew that calling the service simple or easy, despite that being what we were trying to do, it would have been insensitive to those circumstances and those struggles that people were going through and that were triggered by using this service. And that's true of all products and services, not just those that are dealing with sensitive subject matters. People experience them depending on their own circumstances. So people could be stressed, have low literacy, have bad internet, have a disability or a condition. They could have English as a second language, or children vying for their attention. They could be in any kinds of crisis where nothing that they're going through at the moment is easy or simple. So as designers and researchers, we need to emotionally detach ourselves from our products and services to maintain that perspective. And this is often quite a hard thing to do because we get so emotionally involved in what we're doing and we become so knowledgeable about the subject matter. We find it hard to appreciate what users might be going through. And this is highlighted in this quote by Jacob Neilson. So users' mental models of the user interface are likely to be somewhat more deficient than a designer's mental model, making it more likely that users will make mistakes and find the design much more difficult to use. And that's because we become so absorbed in the work that we're doing and the subject matter. But to detach ourselves from that and to maintain perspective, we should acknowledge our own privilege as designers. So what we find easy might not be for others. What we think is simple might be complicated for some. What we think as affordable might not be for others. So we need to acknowledge our own privilege and keep the user in mind always, consider what they're going through, their struggles and circumstances. So we use language that's objective, factual and neutral. We talk about outcomes and what you can achieve by going through a process rather than attaching our internal thoughts or subjective descriptions to them. Because in doing this, in being factual and objective, it's more respectful and inclusive to those people that are going through difficult times or struggles. Thank you.